What if I told you that crafting is the key to success in arc raiders, and it can absolutely help you get over gear fear and extract more successfully and get more kills in PvP? So let's get right into it, starting off with the Raider hatch key. You can craft these. They're super cheap. It's just 3 sensors and 1 advanced electrical components. Sensors are super easy to find. You can find them off of items in raid. So if you find like a thermostat, I believe, or a number of other different items, you can recycle them into sensors in your hideout, which makes them super easy to get, and especially a lot of them. So that's not too bad. And then the advanced electrical components, once you get your refiner to level 2, you can now craft basically infinite of these. You do need 3 wires, but you can craft the just normal electrical components with plastic parts and rubber parts, which are super easy to get. You can easily pull out 50s of both of these from every single raid. So again, Raider hatch key, definitely worth bringing in into day raids if you are doing that. Zip lines, very underutilized. Just 1 rope, 1 mechanical component. You can craft the mechanical components at your refiner right here. Again, metal parts and rubber parts, really easy to craft. And these can help you travel across the map. They can help you get to hard places. They can help you skip over where enemies may be. Very underutilized. Utility in this game is super OP. Definitely worth using. Lure grenades, you can actually lure enemies to fire on other arcs. So you can throw these on, like, say, a leaper, and the arc flying in the sky will fire on them. Super cool. Definitely underutilized. And everything else here is super cool, but yes, less used. And I don't think that people use the photoelectrical cloak too much, though it is not too hard to craft, actually. And I do believe you can actually buy the speaker components directly from Celeste. So again, not hard to craft at all. So moving on from the utility station, let's move on to the medical lab. This is pretty all self-explanatory. I think most people are already doing this successfully. But if you're walking past moss in your raids, you should definitely pick it up, as you can craft the defib with it. The defib, while it's not as fast as like the Battlefield 6 defib, it is very useful in team fights. It can definitely help you pick up your 3rd teammate while the 2nd one covers y'all. So definitely worth crafting. And this synergizes very well with the smoke grenade, which is not in my explosive station. I don't know if there's a blueprint for it or not, but you can buy the smoke grenade from whatever his name is, Apollo. And these are absolutely insane too. Really good for disengaging and repositioning. Really good for bringing people up when they're downed. Just amazing utility. I always bring at least 2 of these when I'm, sort of PvPing with a squad. Definitely super strong. So going back to the medical lab, there's nothing much else to talk about. These are all pretty standard. You want to grab your advanced arc power cells to do the surge shield recharger, and the sterilized bandages are just antiseptic and durable cloth. Again, pretty self-explanatory. We don't need to talk about that. So moving on to the refiner, I am still leveling mine up. Motors are hard to find. Have everything else. I don't know why motors are so hard to find. I think they come from they can be found in mechanical places, but again, just hard to find. But even level 2 is so nice. Lets you craft all of these things. I have all of the blueprints unlocked for the heavy gun, light gun, and medium gun parts. They're super easy to craft. It just takes simple gun parts, just 4 for each one. You always want to be taking your simple gun parts out of raid, because you need these for crafting basically everything and upgrading your weapons as well. So 100% worth taking. Then mechanical components, all that are used for the advanced ones, etc. Super nice. Also steel springs, definitely want to bring those out of raid as well. In fact, I would even track that so that you're not breaking them down. Explosive compounds, these are used further, but they can be used for nice explosive stuff like that. So anyways, not much more to cover here, but basically everything in the refiner is built into everything else, especially once you get the level 3 unlocked. The magnetic accelerator and power rod can be used for higher tier guns and stuff like that. So moving on from there, the explosive station, these will help you win team fights, especially in a squad setting. Explosives are unbelievably overpowered. People do not use these enough. I think they're especially useful if you are initiating on another squad. So say that y'all came up on a squad and they don't know you're there. If y'all all just throw your snap blast grenades or your shrapnel grenades on them, which, by the way, these are super cheap to make, especially the snap blast, just magnets and crude explosives. These steel springs are used for a lot more, so these are a little bit more rough. But magnets, you can get a ton of those from Celeste if you want. Again, Celeste has a bunch of green crafting items on here, and they're super cheap. So if you need them, you can buy them from here. For example, I'd probably buy these springs, but I need to buy the pink gun parts anyways. But anyways, yeah, nades are absolutely amazing. If you can't afford to make these, just make the light impact. It's just that these sort of give it away. If you have the Snap Blast, you can throw like 2 of these down before the enemy even realizes, and then while they're blowing up, you can also start shooting them. It basically leads to an easy down every single time. They're great for holding hallways. If you want to do even more damage, go for the heavy fuse grenade. They're super cheap. Again, canisters, explosive compounds. Grenades are your friend. They're amazing. Just try it out. In your next raid, just go into raid and use a grenade instead of just shooting at the first person you see. I promise it'll help you win fights. Then if you want to mess around, you can do your trigger grenade and jolt mine. But jolt mine requires a blueprint, so we won't go into that too much right now. Moving on to the gear bench. This I would level up to level 3 as fast as possible. I don't think it was really that hard to get everything you needed to level it up. But anyways, as soon as you level these up, you definitely should start using the looting mark 2. It's saying it lets you have 2 safe pockets instead of 1, which is super useful for bringing out blueprints or bringing in a raider hash key and then bring out 1 blueprint with your raider hash key. Super nice. You can't wear a medium shield with it, but it has a max load weight of 60, which is a big upgrade over the 50. It really just feels like it makes that difference, and it gives you 4 more backpack slots, which is also nice. Plus you get the 3 jewelry slots, so you can take out more valuable items. So just overall an insane augment, and probably the biggest early game upgrade I'd suggest going for super early on. Moving on from there, if you do unlock the looting Mark III Survivor, this is even better. It gives you 80 weight. You only get 20 backpack slots, but you get 3 safe pocket slots, and you can wear a medium shield. This one's absolutely nuts. It's super easy to craft. It's only processors, which come from, you can break a lot of different things down into processors, and advanced electrical components, again, easy to craft, not a big deal. So moving on from there, gunsmith, not too much to talk about here. You want to find the anvil blueprint as fast as possible. If you are having trouble finding blueprints, look in the uncover, like there's a map event. We'll see if it's going on right now, but it's the one where it's like uncovered caches, and you can find a bunch of blueprints in those. It's not going on right now that I can see, but once it is, look at the caches, find like an interactive map and just go to where they are, and you should be able to get a ton of blueprints from that. But anyways, going back to the gunsmith, yeah, we already hit up the gear bench. Anvil is super nice if you can find the Venator blueprint. The Venator is super underrated. It's probably one of the best guns, if not the best, like overall gun in the game, just for how light it is. It's only 2 kilograms. It runs medium ammo, so you can take down arc. It has super high DPS for PvP. Just really, really versatile and light and awesome to use. So super amazing gun. And then also, if you're in tight spaces, the El Toro is amazing as well. And make sure you are actually crafting all of the attachments. Attachments are super cheap, you know, like 1 duct tape and 6 plastic parts. Even the level 2 attachments are super nice, with obviously the magazines being the most important part. So like putting an extended light mag on a stitcher can absolutely win you the fight. Those extra 5 bullets will make a difference. And yeah, so I mean, before you have all of these blueprints unlocked, just run like either a stitcher or a kettle. They're both super solid. The kettle, actually, I learned today, it has a faster time to kill than the stitcher, and it's more accurate. It just takes a little bit longer to reload. But you know, if you want to, you can use the kettle, and you know, if you want to click a lot, it's pretty solid. And then of course the Pharaoh for long range, super strong, really, really cheap. Make sure you are upgrading your guns. For example, if we just craft this real quick and we go into our inventory, we go to firearms. When you upgrade this, every single time you upgrade it, has reduced reload time. It does start taking simple gun parts, but the reduced reload time is absolutely huge. Make sure you check though, for each gun, it's not always the exact same thing for upgrading them. For example, when you upgrade the Osprey, it has reduced bolt action time and reduced reload time. For the Bobcat, it's reduced max shot dispersion, horizontal recoil, and reload time. For the Anvil, it's fire rate and reduced dispersion. The fire rate on the Anvil is really needed. It fires pretty slowly until you get to around level 3, so it's definitely worth upgrading your guns before you go into raid. Think of it as an investment, and if you could shoot that much quicker, you might actually save your life. It is definitely worth upgrading your guns, and just don't forget to do that before you go in. And I'd always suggest having something close range and long range, though if you can run, again, the Venator, then you can really just run with this gun, and that's all you need. You're not going to be popping people from long range. You could just bring like a Pharaoh with some bullets and do that. But again, this is like, if you can find this blueprint, I think you're pretty much set for the rest of the wipe. But anyways, that is pretty much it on the crafting side of things. We could talk a little bit about breaking stuff down. It's, you know, you can be really efficient in raid by grabbing a bunch of blue items, and if you don't salvage them in raid, you can actually salvage them for more when you get them out of raid. So for example, arc alloy, it only gives you 1 metal in raid, but if you recycle it out of raid, you get 2. And that's true for pretty much all the crafting components, I think. But you can stack more of the same item. So if you need more space in your backpack, make sure you're recycling everything down in raid down to the fabric, chemicals, metal parts, plastic parts, and rubber parts. It's definitely worth doing that. So anyways, I think that's pretty much all for crafting. I hope you all found this video helpful. I'll have more guides coming out later this week, and I should have a money making guide linked to the end of this video. So if you want to cache that, watch that. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.